is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
In the headlines, first, Europe's top security body issues a stark warning as the OSCE chief says the continent's decades-old security architecture is crumbling. He urges urgent dialogue to prevent a new arms race. In Asia, a two-day Russia-India business forum opens in Delhi, uniting top officials and executives as both nations push to drive bilateral trade beyond $100 billion by 2030. In the Middle East, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vows to spare no effort to bring home the remains of the last Israeli hostage in Gaza, while also naming his choice for the next Mossad director. In the Americas, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum says she may raise regional tensions and sovereignty concerns in brief talks with U.S. President Donald Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney during her trip to Washington for the 2026 World Cup draw. Meanwhile, the U.S. military conducts another kinetic strike on a vessel allegedly carrying narcotics in international waters under Operation South Spear. Turning to the Philippines, a former congressman breaks down who profited more across corruption scandals spanning 3 administrations. And finally, Hollywood singer Jessie J goes viral after breaking royal protocol with a heartfelt embrace for Kate Middleton at the Royal Variety performance in London. I'm Prince Tripoli. Newsline World starts now. A two-day Russia-India business forum opened in Delhi on Thursday, bringing senior officials and business leaders together to advance trade ties as both countries aim to push bilateral commerce by beyond $100 billion by 2030. Paul Montibon has the report.
The Russia-India Business Forum kicked off at Bharat Mandapam Convention Center under the theme "The Power of Partnership is in the Unity of Purpose." Export to Russia, Indian Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal and Fisheries Minister Rajiv Rajan Lalan Singh were among those attending the forum. The gathering highlighted efforts to expand opportunities for Indian exporters, including seafood producers, after Russia approved 128 Indian processing units for shipment. Officials say greater access to the Russian market would boost India's fisheries sector, support millions of livelihoods, and help offset tariff pressures in other regions. The forum coincides with President Vladimir Putin's first visit to India since 2021, ahead of scheduled informal and formal talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Russia is an increasingly important partner. The approval of 128 Indian seafood processing units for export to Russia reflects this trust. Enhanced access to the Russian market, particularly for aquaculture products such as shrimp, will directly benefit India's 30 million fisheries-linked livelihoods at a time when our exporters face tariff-related challenges in certain other markets. Expanded opportunity in Russia will help diversify destination and ensure sustained, stable growth for the seafood sector.
For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, reporting for Newsline World, this has been Paul Montibon, SMNA News.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is vowing to spare no effort to bring home the remains of the last Israeli hostage still in Gaza. The announcement came as Netanyahu also named his pick for the next director of Mossad. Joy Tabanao reports.
Israel has recovered the body of Suntisak Arintalak, a fly national abducted and killed on October 7. According to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, only one set of remains is still being held in Gaza, those of Staff Sergeant Rani Gavri, a Yassam police officer. Israel had already brought home 254 hostages, to which Netanyahu calls unbelievable but proof. He added that Israel will do the unbelievable again to retrieve Gavri.
אומרים שזה לא יאומן, אני האמנתי, אתם האמנתם, ויחד עשינו את הבלתי יאומן. אנחנו נחושים להחזיר גם אותו ונחזיר עד החטוף האחרון.
Israel received Rentalak's remains via the Red Cross and confirmed the identity through forensic testing. Alongside the update, Netanyahu announced his nominee to head Israel's Mossad intelligence agency, Reserve General Roman Goffman, his current military secretary.
עניין נוסף, אני מביא היום את מינויו של האלוף רומן גופמן לראש המוסד הבא. רומן הוא מפקד עתיר הישגים. לצה"ל הוא ליווה אותי כמזכירי הצבאי. הוא ליווה אותי.
The Israel Prime Minister praised Kaufman as a leader who guided him through the war of resilience and collaborated closely with all Israel security branches. If approved by the Senior Appointments Advisory Committee, Kaufman will replace current Mossad Chief David Barnea, whose term ends in June 2026. These developments come under the ceasefire and hostage release framework established in the 20-point Trump plan in effect since October 10, which includes the release of all living and deceased hostages and expanded humanitarian access into Gaza. Joy Banao, your citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
First responders and volunteers in Indonesia use boats to deliver food and essential supplies to Manalo, one of the most isolated communities in Sumatra after days of flooding and landslides cut off roads access. This report from Almar Forzuelo.
Wide areas are buried in mud, with damaged homes scattered across Malalo. Rescuers traveled by boat to reach the community as landslide and overflowing rivers made land routes impassable. At the village, volunteers and police officers handed out food, water and basic supplies to affected residents. Authorities say floods and landslides have killed 836 people across North Sumatra and Aceh. Heavy rainfall destroyed roads and infrastructure, isolating several communities across Indonesia, Sri Lanka and Thailand. More than 1,500 people have died in a series of regional floods and landslides.
Karena kalau menggunakan perahu, waktu kita lebih efektif dan cepat sampai tujuan. Selain itu, kalau menggunakan jalur darat, roda 4 belum bisa maksudnya mutarnya terlalu jauh. Waktunya dipakai terlalu panjang, ya kan? Jadi waktu nggak efektif. Kalau pakai kapal langsung ke tujuan.
Relief teams continue navigating flood waters as they work to reach other isolated areas. Officials warn that more rain is expected, raising concerns over additional landslides and access challenges in the coming days. Reporting for Newsline World, Almar Forzuelo, SMNI News.
Up next, in the Americas, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum says she may raise regional tensions and sovereignty concerns in brief talks with U.S. President Donald Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney during her trip to Washington for the 2026 World Cup draw. Meanwhile, the U.S. military conducts another kinetic strike on a vessel allegedly carrying narcotics in international waters under Operation Southern Spear. More news when Newsline World returns.
Madalas ka bang napapasobra sa pag-scroll sa phone mo kahit puro masasamang balita ang nakikita mo? Isipin mo ito. Nakahiga ka na sa kama, nagche-check lang ng phone bago matulog. Tapos, hindi mo na malayan, ilang oras ka na palang nagbabasa at nanonood ng mga balita tungkol sa digmaan, sakuna, politika, at lahat ng masasamang nangyayari sa mundo. Nakakaramdam ka na ng kaba at pagod, pero tuloy mo pa rin ang scroll mo. Ang tawag dyan ay doom scrolling. Ito ang habit ng paulit-ulit na pagtingin sa mga negatibo o nakakadepress na content tulad ng digmaan, krimen o problema sa mundo. Nakaka-stress pero hindi mo pa rin mapigilan. Ayon sa isang pag-aaral ng Texas Tech University, ang sobrang konsumo ng masasamang balita ay nauugnay sa pagtaas ng stress, anxiety at pisikal na sintomas gaya ng pagkapagod at sakit ng ulo. Ayon naman sa Harvard Health, ang doom scrolling ay nagpapataas ng fight or flight hormones tulad ng cortisol at adrenaline na nakakapagpabigat ng isip at katawan. Nakakaapekto ito sa iyong mood, tulog at maging sa mental at physical health mo. At kapag naman puro memes at random na content ang pinapanood mo ng sunod-sunod hanggang sa mawalan ka na ng gana na mag-isip at gumawa ng iba pang gawain, ang tawag naman diyan ay brain rot. Sa Gen Z at tinatawag na internet culture, ang brain rot ay overconsumption o sobrang tagal na panonood ng paulit-ulit, mababaw, magulo o walang saysay na content online hanggang sa parang manhid na ang utak mo. Kapag nasobrahan, syempre, nakakasama. Nawawalan ka na ng focus, nawawala ang motivation, hirap mag-isip ng malalim, parang lutang o foggy ang utak. Masaya sa simula, pero kapag sobra, napapagod ang isip mo. Nahihirapang mag-concentrate at parang lutang. Mas delikado pa ito sa mga bata dahil ang utak nila ay nasa proseso pa ng pag-develop. Kaya mas malakas ang epekto ng doom scrolling at brain rot sa kanila. Maaaring makaapekto sa pag-aaral, pag-iisip at pakikitungo sa iba. Ang higit sa 4 na oras ng screen time araw-araw sa mga kabataan ay konektado sa 35 to 88% na mas mataas na posibilidad ng depresyon, anxiety at stress. Base ito sa isang malawakang pag-aaral sa Brazil. Kaya, maging balanse. Magpahinga sa screen, magbasa, makipagkwentuhan, magdasal, maging present lagi. Alagaan ang iyong isipan. Kung anong itinatanim sa isipan mo, yun ang lalago.
Isang pindot lang, pwede kang maka-jackpot. Mukhang masaya at easy money lang. Sa murang halaga, pwede ka na tumaya sa online gambling at e-casino apps. Mayroong sabong, slot machines, mahjong, poker at iba pa. Kailangan mo lang ng smartphone, e-wallet at internet. Pero ang aliw na ito, unti-unting nagiging bitag para sa mga Pilipino. Lalo na kung ang paborito mong artista o influencer ang mukha ng app. Mas madaling makaengganyo, diba? Parang safe naman kasi may kilalang mukha. Pero sa likod ng ngiti, sugal pa rin ang itinutulak. At syempre, mas madali ring itago ang pagkalulong sa bisyong ito. Walang pisikal na kasino o pasugalan, walang kaharap, walang accountability, kaya't mas lumalala ang adiksyon. Dagdag pa rito, maraming online gambling apps at walang regulasyon. Sa likod ng mga makukulay na interface at papremyo, nakatago ang problemang bumabalot ngayon sa bansa, ang pagkalulong ng maraming Pilipino sa online gambling. Pwede maglaro kahit saan, kahit kailan, kahit sino, bata man o matanda, pwedeng malulong. Ayon sa mga eksperto, ang pagkakalulong sa online gambling ay nagdudulot ng matinding stress at anxiety, pagkakabaon sa utang, pagkawasak ng pamilya, pagkawala ng tiwala sa sarili. At tulad ng ibang bisyo, may mga senyales ito tulad ng hindi makapagpigil kahit walang pera, palihim na tumataya, pagpapabaya sa trabaho, pamilya o sarili. Sa bawat taya, may mga taong tunay na kumikita, mga malalaking negosyante at investors na negosyo ang bisyo ng masa. Para sa kanila, perang pumapasok lang ito. Pero para sa ordinaryong Pilipino, kabuhayan at relasyon ang nauubos. At ang masakit, tila matagal itong nahayaan. Hindi ito naging prioridad ng mga nakaupo sa taas hanggang sa sobrang lumala at halos naapektuhan na ang buong komunidad. Ngayon, sa dami ng nalulong at sa laki ng pinsalang naidulot, saka palalong umugong ang mga panukalang batas para higpitan ng online gambling, gaya ng pagbabawal sa paggamit ng e-wallets para tumaya tumaya, pagtaas ng minimum bet, mas mahigpit na identity verification, pag-block ng mga illegal na gambling sites, at bawasan o ipagbawal ang mga ads na target ang kabataan. Maaari itong magmukhang laro lang, pero sa katotohanan, isa itong sugal sa kinabukasan. Ang kita na dapat sa mga pangunahing pangangailangan o ipon na uubos sa sugal. At sa mundo ng online gambling, mas madali kang matalo kaysa manalo. Huwag hayaang sugal ang magdikta sa iyong buhay. Isang paalala mula sa SMNI.
Sa kabila ng mga mas modernong kaalaman at teknolohiya, nananatiling matindi ang banta ng HIV sa Pilipinas. Pero gaano nga ba kalala ang sitwasyon? Ang HIV o Human Immunodeficiency Virus ay isang sakit na sumisira sa immune system ng katawan. Ngunit tandaan, hindi ito nakukuha sa simpleng pakikisalamuha. Hindi mo agad mararamdaman, pero unti-unti nitong pinapahina ang katawan. At kapag hindi naagapan, humahantong ito sa AIDS, ang huling yugto na impeksyon, kung saan halos wala ng panlaban ng katawan laban sa sakit. Patuloy na dumadami ang kaso ng sakit na ito sa Pilipinas. Isang nakababahalang pagtaas. Umabot na sa 500% ang itinaas ng HIV cases sa mga kabataang edad 15 hanggang 25. Ayon mismo sa Department of Health, 56 na bagong kaso ang naitatala kada araw sa bansa mula Enero hanggang Marso 2025. At ang pinakamatinding apektado, ang kalalakihan at kabataang Pilipino. Dahil dito, ang Pilipinas na ngayon ang may pinakamataas na bilang ng bagong kaso ng HIV sa buong Western Pacific region. Isang indikasyon ng lumulubahang sitwasyon, kaya nananawagan ng Department of Health gawing opisyal at urgent ang laban sa HIV sa pamamagitan ng isang Public Health Emergency Declaration. Kalalakihan ng pangunahing apektado, 95% ng bagong kaso ay lalaki. Mahigit 1/4 ay kabataang nasa edad 15 hanggang 24. Habang wala pang deklarasyon, patuloy ang DOH sa mga sumusunod na hakbang: HIV testing, libreng gamot, self-test kits, at pakikipagtulungan sa DepEd para sa edukasyon sa mga paaralan. Isinulong rin ng DOH ang online patient appointment system para sa HIV patients. Layunin nitong gawing mas madali at mas personal ang pag-access sa libreng gamutan at konsultasyon. Ayon sa schedule ng pasyente, ang HIV ay hindi tulad ng flu. Hindi ito basta naipapasa sa hangin. Ito ay naipapasa sa pamamagitan ng personal na desisyon. Kailangan din nating pagtuunan ng pansin ang ugali, disiplina, at personal na responsibilidad. Isang paalala mula sa SMNI.
Kanang inyong mga cellphone, pagbantay mo sa inyong mga isultihan na mo sa una. Pornography is a spiritual adultery. Kanang pornography, labaw pa na sa shabu. Magdaot imong uto ka na, labi na kung ikaw niya ka sa team na ministry, paingon taglangit, mauna imong kalaban. Because it will destroy everything that was implanted to you spiritually that will let you go to heaven. Pornography is the #1 missile of the enemy that will destroy you and your soul to hell. Ayaw jud mo pagtanaw pornography, babae lalaki sa inyo. What is dangerous now with cell phones? You can go into the privacy of your room and look at your cell phone without anyone. Only God knows what are you looking at. And mostly, people go to the dark side of the door going to destruction to hell. And that is pornography. It destroys the mind. It destroys the soul. It destroys your spirit.
Madalas ka bang napapasobra sa pag-scroll sa phone mo kahit puro masasamang balita ang nakikita mo? Isipin mo ito. Nakahiga ka na sa kama, nagche-check lang ng phone bago matulog. Tapos, hindi mo na malayan, ilang oras ka na palang nagbabasa at nanonood ng mga balita tungkol sa digmaan, sakuna, politika at lahat ng masasamang nangyayari sa mundo. Nakakaramdam ka na ng kaba at pagod, pero tuloy mo pa rin ang scroll mo. Ang tawag dyan ay doom scrolling. Ito ang habit ng paulit-ulit na pagtingin sa mga negatibo o nakakadepress na content tulad ng digmaan, krimen o problema sa mundo. Nakaka-stress pero hindi mo pa rin mapigilan. Ayon sa isang pag-aaral ng Texas Tech University, ang sobrang konsumo ng masasamang balita ay nauugnay sa pagtaas ng stress, anxiety at pisikal na sintomas gaya ng pagkapagod at sakit ng ulo. Ayon naman sa Harvard Health, ang doom scrolling ay nagpapataas ng fight or flight hormones tulad ng cortisol at adrenaline na nakakapagpabigat ng isip at katawan. Nakakaapekto ito sa iyong mood, tulog at maging sa mental at physical health mo. At kapag naman puro memes at random na content ang pinapanood mo ng sunod-sunod hanggang sa mawalan ka na ng gana na mag-isip at gumawa ng iba pang gawain, ang tawag naman dyan ay brain rot. Sa Gen Z at tinatawag na internet culture, ang brain rot ay overconsumption o sobrang tagal na panonood ng paulit-ulit, mababaw, magulo o walang saysay na content online hanggang sa parang manhid na ang utak mo. Kapag nasobrahan, syempre, nakakasama. Nawawalan ka na ng focus, nawawala ang motivation, hirap mag-isip ng malalim, parang lutang o foggy ang utak. Masaya sa simula, pero kapag sobra, napapagod ang isip mo. Nahihirapang mag-concentrate at parang lutang. Mas delikado pa ito sa mga bata dahil ang utak nila ay nasa proseso pa ng pag-develop. Kaya mas malakas ang epekto ng doom scrolling at brain rot sa kanila. Maaaring makaapekto sa pag-aaral, pag-iisip at pakikitungo sa iba. Ang higit sa 4 na oras ng screen time araw-araw sa mga kabataan ay konektado sa 35 to 88% na mas mataas na posibilidad ng depresyon, anxiety at stress. Base ito sa isang malawakang pag-aaral sa Brazil. Kaya, maging balanse. Magpahinga sa screen, magbasa, makipagkwentuhan, magdasal, maging present lagi. Alagaan ang iyong isipan. Kung anong itinatanim sa isipan mo, yun ang lalago.
And we're back. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum says she may raise regional tensions and sovereignty concerns in her short meetings with U.S. President Donald Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney during her trip to Washington for the 2026 World Cup draw. More of this from Joy Tabanao.
President Sheinbaum met journalists at the National Palace on Thursday. She said she expects only brief encounters with Trump and Carney due to the event's tight schedule. When asked whether she would address U.S. military activity in the Caribbean and tensions involving countries like Venezuela.
Él conoce nuestra posición. Nosotros creemos que deben respetarse las leyes internacionales y la soberanía de los pueblos y su autodeterminación. Lo he tenido oportunidad de, cuando hemos hablado por teléfono, decírselo, que México siempre va a estar por la construcción pacífica, la salida pacífica de cualquier conflicto.
Sheinbaum said Mexico remains willing to help promote peace in the region. She emphasized that her government opposes any form of interventionism. The president also addressed questions about the future of the United States, Mexico-Canada agreement or USMCA. She rejected claims that the trade agreement expires next year, saying Trump's interpretation reflects his communication style. Sheinbaum's visit to Washington, centered on the World Cup draw, will mark her first in-person meeting with President Trump since taking office. Joy Tabanao, your citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
The U.S. military has carried out another kinetic strike on a vessel allegedly transporting narcotics in international waters as part of the ongoing Operation Southeastern Spear. The Southern Command announced strike Thursday, releasing footage showing a moving vessel hit by a precision blast. The timing and location of the latest released footage have not been independently verified. Flames and thick smoke engulfed the boat as it burned on the water surface. Officials say the attack was ordered under Operation Southern Spear. Intelligence confirmed the vessel was carrying illicit drugs along a known trafficking route in the Eastern Pacific. 4 men described as narco-terrorists were reportedly killed in the strike. The operation comes amid controversy over a previous numerous strikes in the Caribbean. U.S. War Secretary Pete Hegseth was accused of issuing a kill everyone directive after an alleged Venezuelan drug boat was hit, followed by a second strike that targeted survivors clinging to wreckage. The White House acknowledged a follow-up strike occurred but denied Hegseth ordered it. President Donald Trump has publicly braked Hegseth, saying he believes the secretary's denial. U.S. Congress has launched a bipartisan investigation into the September 2 attack through the Senate and House Armed Service Committees. The Trump administration says it will release the footage of the controversial follow-up strike. U.S. anti-drug operations across the Caribbean have resulted in more than 85 deaths since September. Officials say Operation Southern Spear will continue intensified maritime interdiction as investigations proceed. A stark warning tonight from Europe's top security body. The head of OSCE says the continent's entire security architecture, built over decades, is now crumbling, urging urgent dialogue to prevent a new arms race. Jane Domingo tells us more.
Ukraine.
Speaking before foreign ministers at the OSCE's 32nd Ministerial Council in Vienna, Secretary General Freydun Sotobi said the system that kept Europe stable for generations no longer holds.
The European security architecture our forefathers and mothers have built over decades of hard work has crumbled before our eyes. It simply no longer holds. And in no other place is this more visible than just a few hundred miles away from here, in Ukraine. The ongoing war remains an open wound in the heart of our continent. It has caused immense suffering. It must end. Thanks to renewed diplomatic efforts led by President Trump in recent months, I am confident it will end.
He also warned that without a new, honest and inclusive dialogue among member states, Europe risks sliding into an uncontrolled arms race. The warning comes as multiple Western governments ramp up defense spending and military readiness. Germany in particular has been accused of shifting toward a war economy. To recall, Russian President Vladimir Putin has said Russia is ready if provoked.
Они обижаются, что их отстранили от ведения переговоров, но хочу отметить, что их никто не отстранял. Они сами отстранились. Мы не собираемся воевать с Европой, я уже об этом 100 раз сказал. Но если Европа вдруг захочет с нами воевать и начнет, мы готовы прямо сейчас. То есть здесь не может быть никаких сомнений. Только вопрос в чем? Если Европа вдруг начнет с нами войну, мне кажется, что очень быстро, это же не Украина. С Украиной мы там действуем хирургическим способом, аккуратненько, так, чтобы, понятно, да, это не война в прямом, современном смысле этого слова. Если Европа вдруг захочет начать с нами войну и начнет ее, то очень может быстро произойти ситуация, при которой нам не с кем будет договариваться.
Meanwhile, Senior Logos said Europe now needs a new security model, one that restores verification mechanisms, revives arms control, and forces member states to confront the hard questions.
It will be in everyone's interest to build a system that endures, and that can prevent us from falling into the abyss of arms race and endless escalation management. fraught with the risk of new confrontation.
Berlin insists the move is necessary to counter a Russian threat. OSCE President Pierre Ponce Pietro echoed the call, stressing that security is not born from silence, but from open channels. Hosted by Finland's Foreign Minister Elina Valton, the two-day meeting in Vienna brings together ministers from 57 OSCE states and 11 partner nations. The OSCE, found during the Cold War, was built to keep East and West talking. Its leaders now warns that mission is more essential and more fragile than ever. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Shin Domingo, SMNI News.
When we return, turning to the Philippines, a former congressman breaks down who profited more across corruption scandals spanning 3 administrations. More news after the break.
Pasasaan pa ang kalayaan kung ang mga alipin ngayon ay sila din naman mang-aalipin bukas.
Ibigin mo ang iyong bayan ng sunod kay Bathala, sa iyong kapurihan at higit sa lahat sa iyong sarili.
Hindi natin mapapalaya ang ating mga sarili maliban kung sumunong tayo na nagkakaisa sa iisang hangarin.
Ang tunay na makabayan ay ang tumutupad ng pagpapabuti ng kanyang mga kapwa, gaano man kaaba ang kanyang katungkulan. Naway magsilbing paalala ang kanilang mga salita upang lalo nating mahalin at tapat na paglingkuran ang minamahal nating inang bayan.
Ikaw ba ay namomroblema sa taas ng electric bill buwan-buwan? Huwag mag-alala, narito ang ilang paraan upang makatipid sa kuryente. Patayin ang mga ilaw at appliances kapag hindi ginagamit. Sa halip ay gumamit ng natural na liwanag upang makatipid sa kuryente. Tanggalin sa saksakan ang mga appliances kung hindi ginagamit. Iwasan ang paggamit ng maraming appliances ng sabay-sabay. Gumamit ng LED bulbs. Ito ay mas tipid sa kuryente kumpara sa mga incandescent at fluorescent bulbs. Regular na linisin ang mga appliances tulad ng electric fan, aircon vents at refrigerator. Magkaroon ng takdang araw sa isang linggo sa pamamalansya at paglalaba. Gumamit ng energy-efficient appliances. Tandaan, maging wais sa paggamit ng kuryente upang makatipid para mas gumaan ang buhay. Ang paalalang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng SMNI.
Sa panahon ng tag-ulan, hindi lang baha at ulan ang dapat bantayan, kundi pati na rin mga sakit na pwedeng makahawa. At dahil ngayon ay rainy season, nagbabala ang Department of Health laban sa tinatawag na wild diseases. 4 na klase ng sakit na karaniwang nakukuha ng tao tuwing maulan. Ito ang W o waterborne diseases, gaya ng pagdudumi o gastroenteritis. I o influenza-like illnesses, gaya ng sipon, ubo at lagnat. L o leptospirosis, na maaaring makuha mula sa ihi ng mga daga sa baha. At D o dengue, na dala ng mga lamok. Kapag baha, mas mabilis kumalat ang mikrobyo. Kaya't ugaliin ang paghuhugas ng kamay at agad maligo matapos lumusong sa baha. Ano ang dapat gawin para maiwasan ang wild diseases? Tumutok sa weather updates. Magsuot ng kapote at bota. Siguraduhing malinis ang iniinom na tubig. Agad kumonsulta sa health center kung may nararamdamang sintomas. Mainam din gawin ang 40 o ang taob, taktak, tuyo at takip para maiwasan ang dengue sa bahay at komunidad. Maglinis, magmasid, mag-ingat. Labanan ang wild diseases ngayong tag-ulan. Ang paalalang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng SMNI.
And we're back. The Supreme Court has allowed the Office of the Solicitor General to once again act as counsel for the petition against former President Rodrigo Duterte and Senator Bato de la Rosa in the International Criminal Court or ICC case. The former president's lawyer said the OSG's credibility may become questionable due to its change of legal position in the case. Margot Gonzalez reports.
The Supreme Court granted the manifestation with entry of appearance filed by the Office of the Solicitor General on December 1, 2025. This means the OSG is once again the government's counsel in the petition against former President Rodrigo Duterte and Senator Bato de la Rosa in relation to the ICC case. It will be recalled that the OSG, then led by Menardo Guevara, recused itself in April as counsel for top government officials in the case due to its position that the ICC has no jurisdiction over the Philippines. After the OSG's recusal, the Department of Justice served as counsel, and for the DOJ, the OSG's return is a welcome development. The OSG is confident in its ability to defend the government in the case. The DOJ also said that with the OSG now back as counsel, the Justice Department can focus on its core mandate. The legal counsel of Duterte and De La Rosa said it does not reflect well on the country that its position in the case keeps changing. They said they will bring their observation to the Supreme Court. Up to now, their camp has no idea why the OSG has decided to resume its role as counsel in the case.
No reason was ever forwarded by the Solicitor General of its current legal stand, as to why it changed its legal position on the matter. It's not good on the part of the Philippine government to flip-flop, kasi there should be legal stability in their arguments and the action on the part of the OSG.
Because of this, the OSG's credibility may be affected.
Impression yun na it would affect its credibility kasi Solgen yan pinakamagagaling na mga abogado nandiyan sa Solgen. And bago yun sila mag-make ng legal stand, pinag-aaralan yan, subjected yan to discussions, theory building, and it's not easy to change its theory kasi yung stand nila sa Article 127 iba na. Ang sabi nila ngayon, meron pang residual jurisdiction ng ICC, kaya yung pagdakip kay Presidente Duterte somehow legal pa yun sa kanilang pagtingin.
Reporting for Newsline World, Kay Villan, SMNI News.
The Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH and the Mayors for Good Governance are strengthening their partnership to better address the challenges faced by local chief executives, particularly issues related to substandard infrastructure projects. Here's Jane Cudnita reporting.
DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon gathered various mayors from across the country who are members of the Mayors for Good Governance, led by Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong. The meeting served as a dialogue between the agency and the local chief executives to identify the problems they face in the respective areas, especially concerning infrastructure matters. Investigations into the flood control anomaly revealed that some DPWH school building projects were allegedly substandard. Through this meeting, the collaboration between the DPWH and local governments is expected to be strengthened for the effective implementation of key infrastructure projects.
Dahil nga magaki ang backlog natin sa construction ng classrooms, humihingi tayo ng tulong sa mga mayors na pwedeng tulungan nga tayo sa pag-construct, no, para mabilis nating mahabol yung backlog natin at maka-catch up na tayo by next year. Tanti itong step na to not only help DPWH and DepEd with the classrooms, but also later on, pati mga ibang proyekto natin.
The DPWH is also planning a tripartite agreement between the LGUs and the Department of Education for the classroom SketchUp plan. This aims to ensure an orderly and efficient process in constructing new classrooms and to make sure these are up to standard and safe during calamities. According to DPWH data, 200 classrooms have been completed this year and more than 1,000 are targeted for completion by September 2026.
Yung funding, meron namang pondo eh. No, meron namang pondo, lalo na kung yung pondo hindi na nakawin. So magtulungan na lang tayo, hindi natin mapupondoan lahat, pero meron tayong magagawa.
For Infanta Quezon Mayor Lord Arnel Ruanto, the move taken by the DPWH is significant, especially since the province still has a backlog of around 3,000 classrooms.
I-feature natin yung real situation ng education. The education crisis talaga. Imagine from grade 1 to grade 3, 15% o 15 lang sa 100 yung kayang bumasa ng tama na ayon sa kanyang edad at grade o antas. Kaya ang isang tinitingnan din po namin, imagine if you have that kind of environment, learning environment, classroom na kulang-kulang. Ganun talagang resulta. Kaya we cannot just blame DepEd. Ang totoo, pag titingnan natin, wala kasi tayong ginawang mabilis na solusyon doon sa backlogs ng classroom. So kaya po ganun yung nangyayaring resulta.
The mayor added that under this agreement, the construction of projects that are inappropriate or substandard will also be avoided. In this way, the millions of pesos allocated for these projects will not go to waste.
Mas maganda kung kasama sa pagpaplano lagi ang local governments. The local governments can consult the barangays. Doon sa CAP, actually involved pa ang civil society organizations. So they would be the one na meron tayong outsiders to look for the construction of classrooms. So mas maganda kung may marami nagbabantay, mas maayos yung proyekto.
Meanwhile, the DPWH and the Mayors for Good Governance will also focus on Upland Kontra Baha program, which includes declogging and cleaning drainage systems and waterways in flood-prone areas, especially since no funds have been allocated for flood control projects in the 2026 national budget. This has been Jane Cognita, your citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
A former congressman has provided an assessment of how much money was involved in corruption across 3 administrations. MJ Mondiha reports.
Ngayon lang naman kasi nakita ng taong bayan ang malawakang korupsyon. Ngayon lang ang naranasan.
Former Congressman Mike Defensor used these words to describe the flood control anomaly under the current Marcos Jr. government. In his interview with SMNI News, Defensor compared the scale of money involved in corruption across 3 administrations: the Arap Estrada, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, and the Marcos Jr. administration.
Si Pangulong Estrada nung kinasuhan, the total amount that was filed against former President Estrada was 4 billion. Meron sinasabi silang Weteng Fund, may Muslim Youth Foundation Fund, pero yung direct na naging participation na sa government funds was the tobacco excise tax. Yun ay umabot na mga 140 million pesos. Dito na-convict ang Pangulong Estrada.
The amount involved in the cases increased under the administration of former President Arroyo.
Nung panahon ng Pangulong Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, ang final sa kanyang kaso was the PCSO Intelligence Fund. Hindi niya pondo ng PCSO. Nakita doon na may nakasulat siya na handwritten na doon sa paggamit nila ng intelligence fund. Ikinaso kay Pangulong Gloria yun. 366 million.
The case against GMA was eventually dismissed according to Defensor. But according to him, the scale and amount of money involved in anomalies under the present government are entirely different.
Dito, district engineer pa lang billion-billion na. Paano na bang ikukumpara yun? Yung pondong pinag-usapan natin kay ERAP, yun na yung pondo ng gobyerno, 130. Yung ito ng 360, pondo na ito ng gobyerno. Dito pa lang kay district engineer yung pondo ng gobyerno, bilyon. Nung magsoli, 100 milyon, district engineer. Naku naman. So iba talaga to, itong malawakang issue ng korupsyon at organisado. Pinamumunuan ng ating Pangulo, kasama si Speaker Martin Romualdez, at kasama itong si Chairman Saldico.
Former President Rodrigo Duterte chose not to pursue any cases against his predecessor, the late former President Noynoy Aquino, who passed away on June 24, 2021. No corruption cases were filed against the former president when he stepped down from office. But he is now detained at the ICC detention facility in The Hague. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been MJ Mondihar, SMNA News.
Content creator Benedict Kua recently went viral after attempting the 500 peso Noche Buena challenge, trying to prepare a full holiday meal for a family of 4. Meanwhile, Hollywood singer Jessie J went viral after breaking royal protocol to hug Kate Middleton at the Royal Variety performance in London. The gesture, inspired by their shared experiences with cancer, highlights a personal, heartfelt moment between the two mothers. Blake Ann will give us the updates.
The Philippine Department of Trade and Industries suggested 500 peso Noche Buena budget for a family of 4 has sparked major backlash from the public. It also prompted netizens and content creators to put it to the test. Among them is well-known content creator Benedict Kua, who tried to stretch the 500 peso budget to prepare a holiday meal for a family of 4. In his Instagram post, Benedict shared his journey of shopping at the grocery and wet market to gather the ingredients for a simple Noche Buena spread: fried chicken, spaghetti, and fruit salad. However, with just 500 pesos, Benedict was also able to buy fruit cocktail, all-purpose cream, condensed milk, and spaghetti noodles in sauce, leaving him with only 184 pesos remaining in his budget. He mentioned that with just 184 pesos left, he still hadn't bought any meat yet. So he decided to visit the wet market in hopes of finding more affordable options. However, almost all the vendors he spoke with selling chicken and ground pork told him that 500 pesos wouldn't be enough to prepare a Noche Buena meal for a family. Benedict was forced to buy only small portions of meat. The content creator admitted that trying to make everything fit within the 500 pesos gave him a headache. Although he managed to complete the challenge, Benedict admitted feeling saddened as a father. He explained that after waiting so long for Christmas, every family, whether small or big, would still want to prepare a proper Noche Buena for their loved ones. Meanwhile, Hollywood singer Jessie J has gone viral after breaking royal protocol by hugging Kate Middleton at the Royal Variety performance in London on November 19. The incident occurred after Jessie J performed at the Royal Albert Hall alongside other artists for the Prince and Princess of Wales. She said she saw the Princess of Wales as a fellow mother who had gone through cancer, which prompted her to give the hug. And I quote, "I didn't see her as a Princess of Wales, but of course, I was respectful," end quote, she added. Jessie J also revealed that she broke protocol despite being advised not to. And I quote, "I just wanted to hug her, mother to mother, human to human," end quote. It is worth noting that Kate Middleton publicly announced her cancer diagnosis in March 2024 and confirmed in January that she is in remission. Jessie J, meanwhile, was diagnosed with early breast cancer in June and underwent surgery in the same month. And that's all for now. I'm Blake Ann, bringing you the latest showbiz.
In sports update, South Africa's veteran Luck Ibn Itzibeth has been suspended for 12 weeks after being found guilty of eye gouging during the Springboks' dominant win over Wales. Meanwhile, Anastasia Potapova has officially changed her sporting nationality from Russia to Austria after receiving Austrian citizenship. More of this from Carlo de la Peña.
The double World Cup winning second row received a straight red card in the 79th minute of South Africa's 73-0 demolition of Wales in Cardiff, after match officials spotted his thumb making contact with the left eye of Welsh flanker Alex Mann. The incident occurred shortly after Edsebeth entered the game as a second-half substitute. An independent disciplinary panel chaired by Christopher Quinlan Casey initially assessed the offense at a mid-range entry point of 18 weeks. However, mitigating factors including Edsebeth's previously clean record across 141 international caps led to a reduction to 12 weeks. The decision came after an extended 24-hour deliberation period. The ruling sidelines Edsebeth until the end of March 2026, meaning he will miss several fixtures for the Sharks in both the United Rugby Championship and European Champions Cup. He becomes the third Springbok forward to see red this autumn, following cards shown to Franco Mostert and Lou de Jager. Mostert's dismissal was later downgraded to a yellow. World Rugby categorizes intentional eye contact violations with bans ranging from 12 weeks up to 4 years, underscoring the seriousness of the offense. Meanwhile, Anastasia Potapova, currently ranked world number 51, announced the decision on Instagram, expressing her excitement to represent her new homeland starting in 2026. She described Austria, particularly Vienna, as a place where she feels welcome and at home. Her move comes as Russia continues to face bans from major international team competitions due to the invasion of Ukraine, preventing her from participating in events like the Billie Jean King Cup. Once the change takes effect, Potapova will become Austria's top-ranked women's player, overtaking Julia Graber, who is positioned at number 94 in the WTA rankings. The 24-year-old has not competed since October's China Open due to injury. She joins a growing group of Russian players shifting allegiance, including Daria Kazetkina, who recently obtained permanent residency in Australia, and Natala Zalamidze, who switched to Georgia to remain eligible for tournaments during Russian bans. Potapova previously described Russian athletes as hostages of the current situation, amid tensions that affected her matches, including a near boycott from Elina Svitolina in 2022. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo de la Peña bringing you the latest sports news.
A one-of-a-kind tourism gem has taken flight in the heart of Argentina without ever leaving the ground, as two decommissioned airlines are transformed into a fully functioning luxury hotel. Angel Pastor has a story.
Travelers looking for an unforgettable stay can now experience sky-high luxury in the city of Oncativo, Cordoba, where the world's first hotel built inside airplanes has officially opened. The innovative project features 8 double rooms with private balconies, jacuzzis, modern bathrooms, air conditioning, and cutting-edge smart room technology, redefining what it means to take off on vacation. The visionary behind the project is businessman Oscar Scorza, owner of Econovo, a company specializing in urban sanitation. Scorza purchased 3 retired Southern Winds aircraft left unused for nearly 20 years and decided to breathe new life into them through creative recycling. Footage from the site shows the striking silhouette of the planes nestled amid the quiet countryside. Inside, guests are greeted with king-size beds, smart TVs, high-speed Wi-Fi, and even Bluetooth-enabled showers with ambient lighting, enhancing the futuristic feel of the hotel. Each aircraft is named after countries where Econovo has done business, including India, China, Turkey, Spain, United States, Italy, Peru, and Uruguay. Guests staying in room 1 even gained special access to the plane's original cockpit. While the aircraft originated from a scandal 2 decades ago involving unclaimed luggage and a major drug seizure, their transformation into a tourist destination now shines as a positive turnaround story, proof that even troubled pasts can take off toward brighter horizons. Reporting for Newsline World, Angel Pastor, SMNI News.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the song. In everything you want to do, if you are committed, if you are consistent, you will succeed. And as we keep track of the countdown, there's only 20 days left before Christmas. And that's all for this edition of Newsline World. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I'm Prince Tripoli. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.